Welcome to one of our favorite places in California, the Huntington. You get a little bit of everything here at the library, art museum, and gardens. It truly is a hidden gem right in the heart of San Marino, close to Pasadena. This is Alexandra with Time Off Request, where we like to talk about travel and everything in between. Let's get to it. We've been to Los Angeles so many times, and just over the recent years have started visiting the Huntington. Before visiting, we recommend staying up to date on their website, which has quite a bit of information. Reservations are required for weekends, holidays, and peak hours, while they still highly recommend reserving your weekday entrance times beforehand too. The first time we visited, we also reserved a free tour to get to know a bit more about the Huntington. We would recommend it for anyone interested in learning more about the history and having a volunteer docent guide you throughout the park. We also recommend grabbing a map at the ticketing booth and downloading the digital guide beforehand. Even using your Google Maps can help you navigate the 130-acre grounds. Links are in the description below. This beautiful fountain and some of the sculptures within the garden date back to the late 17th and early 18th centuries in Italy, from the 1914 to 1922 collection of Henry and Arabella Huntington. This iconic garden has been featured in TV shows and movies, most notably The Wedding Planner. The Rose Garden is home to over 3,000 individual plants and more than 1,200 different varieties of flowers. It's such a fragrant area thanks to these eye-catching florals. Each type of rose, especially the hybrid varieties, can have some quite interesting names. Make sure to find your favorite. There's ants on this rose. The American Art Building houses some of our favorite architects' works, including designs of Charles and Henry Green from Pasadena, and even creations by Frank Lloyd Wright. Overall, there are over 31 galleries of American art across the Huntington grounds. The European Art Building has British and European art displayed throughout what was once Henry and Arabella Huntington's mansion residence in the early 1910s. The gallery opened in 1928 after they had passed to show one of the greatest collections of the 18th century British art in the US. However, has now grown to be an extensive collection of 15th to early 20th century art. In this building, you'll find Thomas Gainsborough's 1770 painting, The Blue Boy. Across the room, you'll find Kehinde Wiley's A Portrait of a Young Gentleman. In 2021, the Huntington commissioned Wiley to make a painting for the 100th anniversary of the Huntington's purchase of the Blue Boy painting. Still an active and highly used library today, the Huntington Library has collections from 11th to 21st century works. The exhibition hall, Remarkable Works, Remarkable Times exhibit highlights these artifacts throughout history. Some of our favorites include Octavia E. Butler's award-winning archives, printed pamphlets from Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a drafted manuscript of Walden from Henry David Thoreau, drafted copies of the 1776 Declaration of Independence, William Shakespeare's first folio of works, one of the 5 original death masks of Sir Isaac Newton, Chaucer's 1400 The Ellesmere manuscript of the Canterbury Tales, and one of the 12 vellum Gutenberg Bibles of the 1450s. During this visit, we explored the Chinese garden known as the Garden of Flowing Fragrance, Luo Fang Yen. First, we walked alongside the medicine garden to see some rare plants not available elsewhere in the U.S., many of which were collected from China.
Never seen a turmeric plant before.
You can learn about some of the most important plants used in Chinese medicine for the past 2,000 years in this space during Huntington's informal drop-in talk times listed on the website.
Fish mint. The little ginger. Do you see the little ginger? Little sprouts.
The Chinese garden takes inspiration from gardens in Suzhou, which is a city near Shanghai in southeastern China. This 15-acre garden is the product of years of collaboration developed by designers in Suzhou to mimic the private relaxing gardens during the Ming Dynasty from 1369 to 1644. One important thing to note is that this garden is wheelchair accessible. As we continue to explore, the Japanese garden has an original 1904 Japanese house that was shipped to Pasadena and acquired by Henry E. Huntington in 1911. We also marvel at the peaceful views of the koi pond and the distinctive moon bridge. You can experience the flora and fauna of the jungle in the Jungle Garden. The Palm Garden greets the main education and visitor center entrances near the Celebration Garden. We heard some distinctive bird calls this morning. We have only begun to cover the surface of the Huntington and need to go back to continue our own adventures. We recommend at least a day trip or some future visits to go back and see even more. Have you been before? What's your favorite part? If you haven't, what are you looking forward to the most? Share in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.